So new coffee bean came in, it's from Ethiopia. When I sampled it from my producer and my importer, it was a very high grade sample. There was not a lot of defects, but when it came in today and I started working with it, I wasn't quite very happy with the quality. So I'm gonna show you guys how you get rid of the defects, bring your coffees back up to standard before you sell them. So when we do sample roasting, we get like 100 grams or something like that from like the producer. We bring it in, we roast it. We like the flavor, we like the price. Amazing, great, we buy it, right? But similar to like the fashion industry, when you actually look at like a sample clothing, the quality sometimes is a lot higher than what you actually get. Now this is the unfortunate thing. Sometimes they're very close, sometimes they're far apart. This was a lot worse than I expected. So this is a coffee from Guji. It's a region in Ethiopia, and this is a grade 1 Guji. At least this is how they graded it, and this is what my importer said as well. But the problem is, when I found it, it's not like there's a lot of defects and like chips or like bug bites. None of that, no molds, nothing like that. There's just a lot of Quakers. Now, Quakers are these underdeveloped coffee beans. So when you roast them and then you brew them out, they don't have much flavor to them. They're like this nutty, cookie, crackery kind of thing. It doesn't add much flavor. They grind extra fine. They clog up very easily. They're just not very tasty. They don't belong in your actual coffee. So when I did my sample, they said that in 500 grams, there were maybe like four or five Quakers. It's not a lot, but here I've got like less than 500 grams and I can probably pull out like 50 Quakers. So the problem now is, what do I do with it? I had a chat with my producer. I had a chat with my importer, and they're just going to give me a small discount. So now I have to go and take the time, once I roast it, to remove all the Quakers by hand. Yes, it's annoying, but luckily I only got one bag of it because my client wanted like a bag specifically, and this is all for him. Unfortunately, it came out to this quality. It means I have to spend a lot more time. I'm not going to charge him extra. That's not his fault. That really is on the producer. So let me show you guys how I remove them, and then let's talk about what Quakers actually are. So Quakers are these like very light colored coffees. That's why they're so easy to spot, so easy to remove. There just happens to be a lot of them today, and so it took me like over 30 minutes just to remove everything from here. Well, a little bit more than here. Since I was doing it, I might as well have done a little bit more. But the thing is, I love talking about microfines because Quakers grind extra fine compared to the normal grind sizes. And then because Quakers are actually an underdeveloped coffee bean, I thought, what if a good coffee bean roasted has an underdeveloped part in it? So when you open up a coffee bean, you're going to notice that the middle is kind of quakey. It's a little bit lighter in color. And even when I tried different things like a very long, slow roast, so like one of my coffees today that I roasted, actually this one in particular, this one was a 16-minute roast on a very, very low heat. You could almost imagine it as if it was like sous vide with a very, very low and slow smoked pork kind of idea. I don't know. It's like something like Texas barbecue kind of cooking method. But realistically, I wanted to see if I could fully develop a coffee without it getting too hot too quickly. This way I can ensure that even the middle is going to be heated up at the same time as the outside. So what I did was I used a very, very low heat, brought it up to 193 degrees, which is considered a light roast, at least in my opinion. I didn't lose that much water, so when you kind of look at how much water is lost or how much weight is lost, that just tells you how much moisture is lost. And it's concurrent and the same with other roasting methods at things of the same temperature. So there wasn't extra moisture lost even though I roasted it for longer. So the development stage is quite different. And yet when I still crack open a nicely roasted bean, you're still going to get a lighter part in the middle. And that lighter part in the middle is kind of like a quakey part to the coffee. And these quakey parts, when they grind extra fine. So I think the microfines that we get in coffees are actually Quakey coffee beans. Now, can I prove this? Not really. Can I taste the difference? Yeah, when I remove the microfines and you compare them to an actual Quaker taste, they actually taste the same. So maybe in a good coffee bean, regardless of how you roast it, parts of it might be underdeveloped. Therefore, you have this kind of microfine, kind of Quakey flavor, which is what I believe is true. Now, on that note, you know, I'm still going to kind of look into it, still kind of study it. But if you guys see any defective things like these Quakers, you can remove them inside from your bags before you grind it to have a better cup of coffee. Now, there's a couple of other defects that I can talk about and show you guys. I normally don't buy beans that have too many defects. If I see them before I roast them, I try to remove as much as I can. It's just mostly a glance. You just buy higher grade quality beans. You don't normally have that many issues. But for my customers, I always like to guarantee a very high quality coffee. If the bean comes in like this, I gotta do a little bit of extra work. I just gotta do a little bit of extra work. It is what it is. Shit happens, you know. We gotta figure it out. So when you see defective beans, remove them. They don't taste good. You can taste even one or two beans actually come through. Not so much. Well, the Quakers just taste more cookie-like and crackery. But some of the other ones, like bug bites or molds, they're easier to spot before roasting. But when they are roasted, you might see little holes inside your beans. Those are probably bug bites and they have molded inside. So those come out very kind of nasty. And that's why coffees or commercial coffees are darker. It's because when they take it darker, you can't really notice these defects. So that's a little bit about coffee and roasting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys like this video. Check out my website if you want some of my coffee beans. I'm getting some really nice high-grade coffee beans coming in soon. I've changed a lot with my roasting technique. I'll probably talk about that in another video, but thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye!